Welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheuworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with us today is Rae Calnan. Rae is a guide who will help you remember your divine presence, explore your past, present, and future, and/or your multidimensional lives. She works with the angelic realms, higher selves, and galactic energies to assist you in spreading your wings and soaring, becoming the person you chose to be in this lifetime. Welcome to the show, Rae. It's really great to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great. It's great to be here, even with a little bit of a sore throat.
Well, I'm glad that you were decided to just join us anyway. We can take
Exactly.
breaks if you need to. Um, so tell us your story. How did you get started in talking to the angels and dealing in the other realms? Were you born that way? Did you study?
And well, I kind of was born into it. Basically, my mum did palmistry and psychometry. My aunt read tarot cards, so I was around it all the time
Mhm.
as a child. Whether I did have gifts or talents, I really can't remember. With that, but I was just always involved in it. And my mum used to go to spiritual churches, and my dad would take her. And of course, me and my sister, being two young children, had to go along as well because she couldn't leave them at home. So there's always spirits and everything around. So I've always known that all those things were around me at the time. And then gradually, as you get older into teenage years, I did dabble a bit with the runes and tarot. But teenage years, you kind of you forget about those things because life just takes over. But girls at school knew about my background, or people at school knew about my background because the girls would give me bits of their hair so I could take home to my mum so she could do psychometry on it. Um, and at one time in school, my class wanted to do an Ouija board, as you do. And I went, and I said, "Oh, can you come along?" I went, "Well, I'm not really interested in doing the Ouija board." And they went, "Oh, but can you come and make us, can you make sure we're safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I will do," which I didn't realize at the time, but I do now. And there were lots of things when I was a child. Like I loved my kaleidoscope, I had a telescope. I was very much interested in the stars, etc., which obviously later in years I realized that was what I was leading up to.
Mhm.
Kaleidoscope, geometry, all the shapes, telescope, the stars, the galactic, and holding space for people. Even back then, I didn't know I was doing that, but I was asked by the class. And then fast forward, I had a tarot reading when I was in my 20s, and the guy said he could see me go on a life-changing trip, and he said he thought it was Sri Lanka. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I went on to Lonely Planet. Computers were fairly newish then. Went online, looked at Lonely Planet, thought I'd look up Sri Lanka, and they were doing an article on Peru. Ended up reading that article, didn't get to Sri Lanka, switched off. A few days later, turned on the TV, and there was a documentary on Peruvian bears by Stephen Fry. And because of my background, I was kind of like, ooh, okay, maybe there's a little something synchronicity going on here. So I got some brochures for Peru, and I'm looking at going, I can't afford to go traveling around Peru. Wasn't cheap. And then a few months later, I had to change mortgages, and there was a mix up between the mortgage companies, and they gave me some compensation, which was the exact amount of one of these trips. And it's like, okay, let's book this. Then just before I was due to go, the girl I was working with, her grandfather passed away, and she came into work a few days later, and she'd been clearing out his attic. And in his attic, she had found a Lonely Planet guide to Peru and an old Peruvian map. And it was like, and the whole trip was absolutely amazing. No, the other 11 people that were with me, it was like we all fitted together. We all knew each other. And I mean, there were
Mhm.
Australians, Americans, Irish, Europeans. We were just a mix, but we all got on. And there are lots of things that happened during this trip, but the main one, which was the main turning point, was we did the 4-day Inca trail up to Machu Picchu. And I was standing on one of the platforms in Machu Picchu. And as I looked down just for a few seconds, I saw all these Incans below me. And I was addressing them. I was an Inca myself addressing all these people. Only a few seconds, but it was just kind of like, wow. Amazing. Anyway, came back to the UK, October, rainy, miserable, getting dark early. And I was sitting in the office and it was really horrible outside. And I thought, do you know something? I'd rather be out there than sitting in front of a computer in an office. And that kind of like flipped a switch really. And it's like, let's get back. I mean, it's always been there and I still dabbled and stuff, but let's actually look at this a little bit more seriously. Um, and when I did that, it was like, the floodgates opened and angels started coming in to my life. But back then, Doreen Virtue, Diana Cooper weren't really that well known. So there wasn't a lot about angels. And to get anything angelic, I had to sign up to a Christmas catalogue to get angel stuff because unlike now, we can just walk down the road to a shop and there's angels everywhere. They didn't really have that back then. So I had to get it from a Christmas catalogue. In fact, my first angel book I had to order from Ireland. In America, it was much more noticeable, but in the UK, it really wasn't. We sort of like take spiritual things. We tend to come along a little bit after America. It's sort of like
Mhm.
they all go big there, and then they sort of like filter down into the UK, and that led me on to doing angelic Reiki. So I did my angelic Reiki 1 and 2. Then things happened, and that kind of like went on the back burner. But the guided meditations and doing angel oracle cards sort of like came in. And then trying to do the rest of my angelic Reiki, the woman I trained with was a little bit far away and I wanted someone local. And again, all these synchronicities started coming up. I went on a retreat. I met somebody who knew somebody who did angels, went to her workshop, met a couple of girls there who told me about another angelic Reiki practitioner who lived local to me, joined her, did them all in one go. Then it was sort of like the past life. So I did the hypnotherapy training, past life, and future life progression, which was kind of like the missing piece in the whole puzzle. Um, and that just kind of like all amalgamated into what I do now. Um, which is so it's been a really amazing journey coming along, and I'm just so privileged, and I'm always learning. I'm still learning with, someone will come up with something, and I'm like, oh, let me go down and look at that. So yeah, that's my journey so far to
Okay.
where I am now.
So how do you use all of these bits and pieces to help people that come to you? And what
I
kind
mean,
of people do you actually help?
well, I tend to help those that have got to their point in their life where they're actually looking to find their purpose, to actually know who they are, what they're doing. They want to find their higher self. They want to uncover their gifts, their talents. They want to be confident. They want to come out that spiritual clothes. They want to talk about spiritual stuff, but they know they've got things to release, emotional baggage to release. They know that there's more to life than they actually can see, and they want more for it. And I'm really there as a guide to help them remember that divine presence. So, they can heal their past, create their future, transform their present, and find their purpose. And some people just want angelic Reiki. They've got to a point where they want that more angelic connection, or they know there's stuff that needs healing, but they're not sure where to go. So they'll come for me just for angelic Reiki. And then there's others that want to discover who they were in a past life, or they've got issues from the past, and they come along to me for past life regression. There's people who want to see where their future's going to go, or find their, get their business, see their business in the future. So I have those, and then obviously those that are just seeking general wisdom and knowledge through the cards, and those that want relaxation. And all of those actually tie nicely together. And with that, that's where I've started creating an 8-week soul path discovery program, bringing all these different elements in so that people don't have to just do one and then they kind of like, oh, well, maybe I should have done that one as well. Oh, but then that would take me onto that one. Oh, but then that takes me onto that one. It's like, well, why don't I just combine it all so that you don't have to think about that? And all of this takes place, in 8 weeks. So you don't have to keep coming back for session after session,
Mhm.
because life is so busy for us now, and things are happening at such a fast pace that we don't have time to go on that spiritual journey that takes years and anymore, because life is just too fast now. I wish we could still take that time. That would be absolutely brilliant, but life has just moved so fast now, and it's going to get even quicker as we move forward in time.
Yeah, I really feel that too. So, what do you think the benefits of really experiencing the future lifetimes that you're going to be going through? How does that impact what you're doing right now in your life?
It's absolutely amazing because you get to see who you are, and where you're going. So you can go 5 years into the future, 10 years into the future. So it's kind of like, if you spoke to yourself 5 years ago, or yourself 5 years ago spoke to you now, you would tell yourself, your 5 year in the past self, well, you should have done this, you should have done that, you definitely shouldn't have done that. And you would have taken that information, taken it back, and your life would be different now, because you'd have made different choices and changes that would help you on your journey. So when you go into the future, 5, 10 years, you actually get to see where you are, what you're doing, what you could have changed. Did you need to change anything? Or, did it all map out? What steps did you take to get there? It could be like, your house. You can't sell your house, go a few years into the future. Oh, I sold it because I did this, this, this. You come back. I've had clients, one of them, she actually saw herself, she didn't know what she wanted to do. She didn't know she didn't want to do her job anymore. And she loved going to Morocco, but that was just on a holiday. And we took her 5 years into the future, and she actually saw herself living and working in Morocco, and running a riad, I think they're called. And she saw all this, and then literally within months, she had quit her job, gone over to Morocco. She now runs retreats over there. Jane McDonald has filmed a show with her.
Mhm.
And I'm still waiting, because she saw herself meeting a guy in a bar. She's not been to that bar yet, so I'm waiting for that to happen so she can find the man that she wanted. So that's sort of like in this lifetime, but also you can go into future lifetimes, which is absolutely amazing, because when you take people into future lifetimes, they lose their fear of what's going on now, because obviously it's so crazy now with everything going on. But everyone that's gone into the future goes, actually, Earth is still here. We're all still here. We're just on a different vibration. We're just working differently. One of my clients, she went into a future lifetime, and she saw herself teaching different teaching to what goes on, to what we're doing now. but she came back and went, oh my God, that was amazing. She wasn't a teacher. She didn't actually have kids. She actually quit her job to actually train as a teacher to try and bring those things that she saw in the future into today's schooling, because she saw how amazing it was for the children. So when you go into the future, you get all these insights and this wisdom and this knowledge that you can bring back to the current, and you can actually start implementing those things so they actually can come into this lifetime, into the here and now, rather than waiting into the future for them. And that's one of the most amazing things about future life progression, actually going into the future. Yeah, I just love it.
It kind of takes me back to the past and understanding your past lives and what your purpose is for now. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, going into the past again is one of those amazing things. And it's great because when you go into the past, the way I work, I don't take you back to a particular past life. I take you back to the past life that is most important, that you need to know about for your current time. And it's not always what you think it's going to be. And when you go back, you actually get to experience that life. You see what you did. You get a feeling of what was going on around you. If there are any lessons you learned then, what did things happen then that are affecting you in your current lifetime, that you can actually go, okay, I can clear these now. I can see why those happened. I can heal those, so that when you come back, those feelings, those issues, those emotions aren't with you anymore. So you're free of that. But you can see the previous gifts and talents that you had in a previous life, because we've all had gifts and talents that we've forgotten. And when you see and experience those gifts, you can bring them back into the current, into the here and now, which you can then start using, which again starts bringing things into your life that might never have been, or could have been way far further in the future. But what is also amazing when I do it, sometimes people think they need to go back into the past, but we can't get them into the past, but they go into the future. And sometimes people want to go into the future, but we have to go back in the past first to heal that past before they can go into the future. And sometimes if you go into the future, you go beyond that issue that was already happening in your current lifetime, so you see what life is like afterwards. You can bring that energy back. So going back can clear stuff and in the present, and gives you idea of gifts and talents you can use in the present. And going forward can clear all the stuff that's going on now and give you gifts and talents to bring back. So if you can go backwards and forwards in time, which I love doing in the same session,
Mhm.
you can get so much information and knowledge that it just really helps you map your path out now, and be fully in the present to actually start living the life you want now.
So, do you use your angel guides or your angels and guides to help people with this process, or is that something different?
Um, I don't consciously call on them. I mean, they're always there with me. They're always
Mhm.
working. And when I'm working with people, before someone gets there, I call in the angels, my light working team, to come in, and they do guide me. I don't consciously think of them, but
Mhm.
they channel through me. So, I'm not one of those that goes, oh, I've got this angel here or this spirit here or that. They just come through me to help guide the person where they need to be. And then that person's higher self, their guides, angels, they help them in their subconscious, in that other realm, to understand and experience what they need to experience and understand, not what I want or what they want, but what their higher self, the angels, the guides, want them to know. So when I do angelic Reiki, yes, I call in the angel and the angels to do the work. But when I'm doing all my other work, I don't call in any particular angels or spirits. I just trust and know that my team are there and the person's team are there, and they're all working together to get the best result for everyone involved in whatever the session may be.
So would you say that people, if they have questions that they want answers to, it's better to come prepared with questions? Or is it just, I just have this feeling like I know there's more, I don't understand what's going on. Guide me. How does that kind of look?
Yeah, well, I don't give them the answers. I guide them to get the answers themselves.
Right.
Because their higher self, their guides, their spirits know much more than I do or they do as an individual. And when they're in that beautiful space, I like to call it a waking dream, they have so much contact with their guides and their spirits, so that information comes to them through them. I'm there holding the space for them, guiding them. So I'm not telling them what's happening or what they should be doing or what they should be experiencing. Their higher self, their guides, are giving them the information to actually do themselves. So it's giving them the power, that autonomy to actually make those decisions without me sort of like my human
Mhm,
influencing what is what is going on in their lives. So they get the information that they need, even if they come with questions. And I do have clients that come, they want these certain questions answered. I
mhm,
will ask them for their higher self to give them the guidance, the wisdom. But sometimes they'll come in and they'll go, actually, we think there's another question that we really want them to know the answer to. So we're going to concentrate on that one. We're not going to worry about this one. Because what this human person or what their human brain wants isn't really the important one. They need to know this one. And that's where the information that they'll bring through. So it's always so different, so amazing. And the energy is just, yeah, you can't explain it.
I know what you're talking about. Just for the sake of the audience, I'd like to explore that a little more in terms of you don't have to have a problem to come and see you. It's almost better if you just come with an open mind and let the process wash over you and reveal itself. Kind of like you have this gift inside of you, which is your guides and your purpose. And if you can just come and let it be revealed, unwrapped, then you can have the ability to step forward into your purpose rather than continuing to like meander around, hoping that
Yeah.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It is coming with an open mind. I mean, as humans, we can't help but come with questions and and everything like that. But it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to trust, and let the universe and my guides guide me and show me the way. And remembering those synchronicities. Because we're always being guided, but we don't but quite often we don't see all the signs there. We don't hear all the information given to us because we're just so focused on, I need to do this, I need to do this, oh, I must know that. Whereas when we go, okay, let me be open to this, where am I being guided? What am I being guided to? And then things just flow. I mean, if you look at children, they have such that curiosity. They don't have, I want to be doing this or I need to be doing that or need to be doing that. They go with the flow and they're curious. Oh, let me try that. Let me explore that. Oh, well, what about this thing? And they allow themselves to be guided. And I think sometimes we forget that when we need to get back to that wonder, that curiosity of life and see what it brings to us.
Yes, I love that. So do you work mostly in groups? I know you have the Soul Path Discovery program that you're
Yeah.
putting together. How does that work and how does that look?
Well, that's one-to-one with me.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but so that is one-to-one, and it may be that we will create a group out of that. But I have a membership. I run an afternoon tea with the angels once a month. I run guided meditations. I run retreats down in Glastonbury. So I do a lot of group work, as well as the individual work. I mean, the 8 week soul program, because it can go quite deep. Um, you don't really it's better if it's one-to-one, but they can join a group, or get to know all the people that I know that I have in my groups, um that they can get to explore, and they get to meet other people. I mean, that's one of the reasons I started my afternoon tea with the angels initially, because where I lived, there wasn't anyone who was working with angels or anything like that, and it was quite isolated. It's quite isolating. I'm not afraid to talk about this stuff. Even when I was working in an office, I'd see people going, "Oh God, talking about angels and unicorns and dragons again." Um, but there wasn't anyone around. So Meetup. So I did a thing on Meetup, and it's amazing how many people in the area were actually interested in angels.
Yeah.
That came along. Were just waiting for somebody to actually start something. So I really do um, know that group stuff really works. And I think we are now getting back to more community stuff now, because we have if you think 80s, 90s, it was very early 2000s, etc. It really was me as an individual. What am I doing? They're doing that, they're doing that. Whereas now we've realized we need to work as a community. We need to have other people around us to actually help us grow, and we can help them grow. So we're all helping each other. So, yeah, individuals are great, but we do have to create this community. And I love bringing people together and connecting people with other people, and people that have come to my afternoon tea with the angels, or my guided meditations, or my retreats, or join the membership, whatever. They become friends with each other, and see each other, have contact outside of the spheres that I create, which I think is so amazing. And then watching them go off, where they're finding their gifts, their talents, they're getting that confidence, they're talking about all this stuff. They're not afraid to talk about it anymore. It's just so amazing and so heartfelt, and I'm so grateful and humbled that they are taking those things on, and they are moving forward, and they're helping people, which is what we're all here for. We're all here to help each other.
Mhm. So it's online and in real life?
Yes, yes, I work online and in person. I mean, I love doing in person stuff. I don't think there's anything better than in person, but I can work online as well. So um, future life regression, past life regression, cards, guided meditations, angelic reiki can be done in person, online. I train people in future life progression, that can be done online. I train people in angelic reiki, but that is only in person,
Mhm.
which I think it should be because of the energies. Soul Path Discovery Program can be in person or online. The retreats are always in person. So yeah, I work in person, online, and I love working with both. And I think the energies are similar. You don't obviously you can't touch somebody, and I am a hugger. I do admit I do like hugging people, which you can't obviously do online. But the energies are the same. I do love both, but in person, I have to admit, is my favorite.
Very cool. Very cool. I know that you have a free PDF that you offer for people. It's to connect with your guides or angels. And you also have a free future life progression recording. You want to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, certainly. The PDF, Connect with Your Guides and Your Angels, is basically a 5 week or 5 day, not 5 week, a 5 day challenge, really, that gets you thinking about connecting with your guides and your angels. There's guided meditation in the PDF. You can click on the link to get the recordings. There's a couple of recordings there. There's worksheets there. There's exercises for you to do over the 5 days. And by the end of it, you'll be able to not only know who your guardian angel is or your guide is, but to be able to connect with them as well. Or if you don't want that, you can get a free future life progression recording which takes you into the future. I mean, I'm not there asking you specific questions and guiding you to explore different things, but
Mhm.
in your own space and time, you can go and see what comes into what you need to know for the future. And how we are still here, and the air is so much cleaner. We're friendlier to each other. So yeah, so they're those, and if you sign up to those, you that gives you access to my a weekly newsletter, which has a weekly angel oracle card reading for what you need to know for the week ahead, and any discounts I'm offering on anything or any services, or anything that I'm running free, or that's the investment for. You always find those on the my weekly newsletter. And also, I have my own podcast, Angels and Destiny, that goes out every Monday, and you get the link to that. And I have some amazing guests on that as well, and my Angels and Spirits show. And then there's a new show in the pipeline with somebody else, and I'm thinking of doing another live. And it's just, yeah. And that all goes on the newsletter, so you always know where you're going. But the gifts, but when you connect with your angels and your guides, it's just so amazing, because it's like you've got a friend with you. um you know, I talk to my angels all the time. I know my angels names. And there's the guided meditation on there to help you connect, but you can start that connection today, literally after you've listened to this podcast. Before you go to sleep, just ask, guardian angel, have you got a name you'd like me to call you? And then the first name that comes into your head before you go to sleep, a name you dream or a name you see or hear the next morning when you wake up, is your guardian angel's name. Then start talking to them. Good morning, Alf or Gladriel or whatever. Some names that angels give themselves are really basic, like Gladys or John or something like that, and some give really exotic
Mine's
names.
named Joan.
There you go. See? Exactly. They don't have to give exotic, they don't have to have exotic names. But when you start having that communication every day, good morning, good evening, oh, thank you um, for this. I use them for parking all the time and for clear journeys. Thank you, my guardian angel. Mine are Ariel and Nora. I've got two, Ariel and Nora. Thank you so much for this parking space. You found me near the entrance to the supermarket. And lo and behold, when I get to the supermarket, there's the perfect space for me. And as you start talking to them more and more, that connection gets stronger, and you then begin to be more aware of the synchronicities going on around you. And if you don't get a name, that doesn't matter. You can just say, my God, good morning to my guardian angel, good evening, guardian angel, thank you, guardian angel. It's only us as humans that we like to give things names. Guardian angel is just as good, but they can't help us unless we ask.
Yeah. I, Mine gave me an image of what they look like. It's kind of like a Matisse painting.
Oh,
It's,
beautiful.
it's so fun. Um, and she hangs around with unicorns, or they hang around with unicorns. I don't know. Um,
Perfect. Oh, unicorns. Yeah, I've got my own unicorn and my own dragon.
yeah, yeah. They come.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
they do. See, this is how amazing when they are in your life. You're just going, yeah, they're here. It is.
Yeah, and they bring calm and peace and happiness in my life. Um, so how do people start their soul path journey of discovery with you?
Well, the first and the easiest way is to connect with me, and that is either signing up to the newsletter or emailing me with any questions you've got. I do offer a free 20-minute clarity call with people if they're not sure where they're going, or then they want someone to have a chat with, to see, where they should go next, and whether I can actually be of service to them, because obviously I'm not going to be of service to everyone, and I'm not going to resonate with every single person that contacts me, which is how it should be, because we all need to connect and resonate with different people for different things. But they can see where I am, they get to know me, I get to know them, and we work out where they're going and what they're doing. And of course, the Soul Path Discovery Program is fairly new, so that is something I am so looking forward to, and talking with people in person about that. So yeah, so if people email me, go to my website, uh, message me on Facebook, or or send me a question on YouTube, or wherever you can find me. I always answer anyone who contacts me, and I'm always happy to give help and support if people need it, because you know I want to help, and I don't think we should be alone. And I think everyone needs somebody to be there for them. Yeah,
For sure, for sure. And your website is www.radiantangelenergy.co.uk. And I will definitely put that in the show notes below. Ray, this has been an amazing conversation. I've really enjoyed it a lot. What's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today?
I think it is that it is easy to connect to your angels, to your spirits, to other people, that you are not alone on this journey. There is support there for you, in whether it's human form or angels, galactic beings, spirits. That support is always there for you, and know that you are never, ever, ever alone. We create The only reason sometimes we think we're alone is because we create that ourselves, and that's what society has told us. But we're not. We are all part of a community. We are all one. So no, you are never, ever alone.
We are a collective. Sometimes think we're an individual cell out there, but we're not.
No, definitely not.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, no, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us for the U World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheuworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach being the change they seek in